Welcome, welcome, welcome to another amazing, awesome, and powerful life study brought to you by Morning Star Community Christian Center Church. Every Thursday evening, we come to you live and in living color. And with the Bible as the foundation, we study it and we use it and we bring to it life issues, all in an effort to study life to make it better. And this evening is no different. We ask, as we always do, at the beginning of every life study, we ask us to hold up our Bibles and or the digital devices on which we have our Bibles and repeat after me. Are you ready? Repeat after me. This is God's holy word. Receive it, believe it, and achieve it. And our foundational scripture for this evening's lesson is found in Genesis. You'll find that at the beginning of the Bible. The first chapter, you'll find that at the beginning of Genesis. The first verse, you'll find that at the beginning of the chapter. Genesis 1:1. And it reads as follows. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The very first verse of the very first chapter of the very first book of the Bible. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And what we get from this is that creativity is a spiritual principle. It is a spiritual principle. It is a spiritual thing to make something from nothing, which is what God chronicled in that first chapter of the book of Genesis. To bring something into existence that did not exist before. That's a spiritual thing, especially something that blesses people, especially something that enhances the life and the well-being of people, especially something that brings joy to people. That's what creativity is all about. And that's why creativity is a spiritual thing. In the beginning, God created. In the beginning, God created. In the beginning, God brought into existence. In the beginning, God made something from nothing. And creative people are blessings to the society. Creative people enhance the life and the health and well-being of people. Creative people add to our lives. That's why people love music so much. That's why people love movies so much. That's why people love plays so much. Creative people are spiritual people. And it is through the movement and the guidance and the enhancement and the enablement and the empowerment of the presence of God's Spirit that creative people bring things into existence that serve to bless us all. And that's the kind of program we have for you on this evening. So we want you to call somebody real quick now and have them join. Call somebody real quick and have them join. Tell them, don't miss this program. Don't miss this program. They'll be blessed by it. If you have questions, you should go to the chat room and line up. Should you have a question for any one of our artists, you know the process. Go to the chat room, line up, and we will take as many questions as we can. First up, we're going to go to our young budding producer director writers. These are two of our young bright superstars, Joshua Moorhead and Isaiah Moorhead. They are the wonderful sons of Mr. and Mrs. Moorhead, as you might imagine. And we're so happy to have them with us. As I said, they're a couple of the superstars of Morning Star. And we're so pleased to have them. They're just getting started. They're new in their creative efforts. And they recently had a debut called 404. They had a premiere. They had the red carpet. They had a small theater filled up with people who came out to view their premiere called 404. And young Joshua and Isaiah Moorhead are our guests. Can we show some gratitude to God and appreciation to these young brothers and their magnificent effort so far? So let me say, welcome Joshua, welcome Isaiah. Thank you so much for being with us on Morning Star's Life Study here on Thursday evening. Welcome.
We're glad to be here.
Let me ask you first of all to talk a little bit about your recent premiere, the title of the film, the plot of the film, what it was all about, and what it was that you wanted to achieve through the making of this film, and the role of each in the composing of this film.
We had a recently premiere at the Artistica Cinema in Roselle Park that we used that space to have the premiere. And the reason we made this film is because I've always wanted to make films. I know it takes a lot of work, and writing isn't really my strong suit. But my brother, he's a really good writer. So we decided to collaborate. And this was kind of really just, I guess, because it's our first film, it was just to prove that we can make a film, to see how the process would be and how it would go. And it came out really well. People really liked it. So we plan on doing more in the future. And people talk about it.
Yeah, everything he said, like he said, we just wanted to make a film, try and test it out, my writing skills, his video skills. The movie 404, we came up with the idea in our house, like one night, we just came up with the plot and everything. I wrote up the script like a few weeks later. And the movie is just about two friends. They are on their way to go meet their friend who's like an hour or two away from their house. And then their car breaks down. Somebody comes pick them up, give them a ride, and some weird things take place on the way to on the trip. So yeah, we wanted to make the movie just kind of interesting, kind of different, kind of like a suspense, like Jordan Peele-esque type movie. And yeah, that's pretty much.
So, can you describe any feedback that you've gotten so far, critical or acclaim?
We got a lot of really good feedback from the film. Like we got a lot of really good feedback, which we really like. A lot of people enjoyed
a lot of
first film.
Yeah, reposts from Instagram. We got comments from YouTube. Just a lot of things. People in the family, our friends, just letting us know how it went, sharing it through their friends on social media.
One guy was one of the guys who actually owned the theater. He's a filmmaker too. He's like a pretty acclaimed filmmaker. He had a lot of good equipment. And he said the only thing that kind of held us back was our camera isn't really, I guess, like the top standard camera in the industry. And he said he just kind of noticed that. He said everything else was great. Just that if we could get like a really like higher, more like standard industry standard camera, it really put us on another level. So that was the only critique that we really heard that we could like work on for our next film.
Okay. And are you already working on the next film, or are you working on expanding the current one, or redoing or adding to the current one, or are you looking to the next project?
Yeah, it's sometime next week or this week we're gonna start brainstorming just for a new idea, like a new just a quick overview of a next kind of film. Then we work on that. I can probably start taking some notes for writing it, and maybe start the script, and then we're just gonna. After that, it comes like the finding the actors process. So right now we're just gonna try and get an idea first before we even jump into like where we're gonna shoot, when we're gonna shoot, what we're gonna get for it. So.
And I still want to expand this film too in the process because I want to enter it in some film festivals. I just have to change the music around because I know like some music you have to get the rights to if you want to enter it in film festivals, and I haven't gotten the rights to all the music I used in this film. So I'm gonna like maybe make like a film festival cut so I can enter it in film festivals and more people can see it and we can get more exposure in that way as well.
Your favorite producer or director or filmmaker?
Jordan Peele, right now, definitely.
Jordan Peele?
Yes, right now it's our favorite,
yeah.
It kind of shows in 404.
Thank you.
Get out. Anyway, so before we go further, what I want to do is I want to add to our guest and the Moorhead brothers are going to stay with us, and And I want to introduce to our listening audience our next guest, who is Sal Jones. Sal Jones, and he's in Florida right now. But every time he comes to the New Jersey area, his home church is Morning Star. He always comes by. He's a relative of Mr. and Mrs. James and Anita Jones, and he is constantly in our congregation over the past couple of years. But Sal has been an actor, a producer, and a director over the past 25 years. He's acted in or produced or directed some 40 different plays. And some of his plays have made it to New York, off Broadway or off Broadway, and he'll be able to explain what all that means. But at least a couple of his plays have received national awards, national attention. That is, they have been chosen to represent the United States of America in foreign film festivals, or foreign festivals, I should say. And one of them is who will sing for Lena, and we'll ask him to talk a little bit about that. And so Sal is, as I said, we consider him a part of the family of Morning Star, but he has gone off to achieve international acclaim, and he has been so gracious as to join us this evening from Florida, just recently. Returning from Aruba, and shortly on his way to Monaco to deal with the festival there, in which he will be recognized again with the national recognition for one of the plays that he has directed. So, Sal Jones, welcome to Morning Star's Life Study.
Thanks. It's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, well,
I appreciate it.
We appreciate your taking the time to be with us. So, can you maybe give us a summary of? Look, it would take two or three life studies for us to go through your entire career. But can you give us a summary of your career to this point? A summary of what brings you to this point and what you have managed to achieve and what's on your docket right now.
Okay, well, I went to Monmouth College in West Long Branch, New Jersey, graduated in 78, actually 76, and I had theater background. I didn't do well in sociology, so I switched over to theater and did acting. I took a break, though, for 10 years, and I had 2 kids. But then that bug got into me, and I got back into acting. About 9 years after that or so, I decided to direct and produce plays. So I've directed multiple musicals, comic plays, a couple of dramas, and I enjoyed it. So you're right, I have about 40 or 50 shows that I've directed, all in the community setting, all working with people in the community to try to, people, they say, people will come up to you and say, or come up to me and say, I really wanted to act. I really wanted to do some acting in my time, but they never got a chance. So we gave people from the community an opportunity to direct, to act, and even to produce. My last 2 shows it's been funny, over the last 25 years, it's just been, easygoing plays. People come and see it, went to a couple of festivals. And didn't do all that well. But in the past 4 years, my 2 shows have just been off the hook with people who've seen them. I mean, they just, you've seen Who Will Sing for Lena. You came to New York City with my other cousins, and saw the show. And so we've taken Who Will Sing for Lena, written by Dr. Janice Lydell, and we've submitted it into many festivals. And in 2019, we won the National Association Festival with Who Will Sing for Lena. We got Best Production, Best Actress. We got Best, we'll call it a fight scene. We got about 5 awards from that show. And we were ecstatic. My little theater company has won the national awards. And so we've just taken Lena to different stages. Last year, we won the Atlanta Black Theater Festival, Best Production, Best Actress, for Who Will Sing for Lena. We've been invited to the New York United Solo Performance Festival that will go on in October with Lena. And so with all of the success that we've had with Lena, I said, well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it again, but I'll try. So I directed a show called Mountaintop, which is about Martin Luther King's last day on earth. It's a little different. Little things come out that maybe some people don't know about Martin Luther King, but that one also won the 2021 National Awards. And there has not been a theater company in the United States at any time over the last 50 years that has won back-to-back theater companies. And I'm very back-to-back awards. We got Best Production, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Costumes, all in that same festival. So we've been very, very lucky with these shows. And last but not least, Lena was also asked to participate in the Mondial du Théâtre, if I said it correctly, in French. We're going to Monaco in August, and we've been asked to perform and represent the United States with Who Will Sing for Lena. We will do 2 performances in Monaco at the Princess Grace Theater. So I'm very happy with everything that's happened over the last 3 years with our little theater company.
Wow, what a journey! What a journey! And I know you just summarized it, and it's being magnificent just in the summary. Let me ask you, Brother Sal, if I can get Isaiah and Joshua back on. You've been at this, Brother Sal, for a couple of minutes, at least, and for two young budding superstars, can you take a minute and give them some advice from your perspective, from your experience? What would you say if you were mentoring these 2 young men and you wanted to give them as much help and as much direction and guidance as you could? Speak to them for a minute or so around what you think would be best for them as they begin their career in this arena.
Okay, I think number 1, your next show that you're going to do, you need to star me. You didn't laugh. You're supposed to laugh at that. But no, to me, just keep going with it. What I'd like to do when I first heard you speak is introduce you to my actress, who is in New York now trying to make it. And she's also a writer. And I think she's somebody that could give you some information. Now she's just 30 years old. She probably doesn't like it that I mentioned her age, but she's working it and she's doing the job. And she's been in 2 of my shows, and she's the one that won the Best Actress two festivals in a row. She's phenomenal. And she also writes. But the advice that I could give to you is just don't let anybody get in your way. Okay, just keep going. You know, I know that to do these type of things, you're going to need some financial backing. Make sure you got that behind you. Get that camera fixed that you mentioned you had some issues with, but just keep going. Don't stop. Don't let anything get in your way, and seek out people who could help you if you do have problems. You know, trying to do something, one job or another. So, did one of you direct and the other one wrote the show, or did you both write and one directed?
I'm the director and he's director.
You directed, and then is that Joshua?
Yeah, I'm Joshua.
Yeah, Joshua. Did you help write it, or were you co-director?
Oh no, I just directed it. He wrote everything.
I wrote it.
He 100% wrote it.
Good job. That's one thing that I have not mastered is writing, and I really do want to do that. Writing is key. Having a good director is key, and having great actors auditioning for your parts. You know, take the right people you need. Don't settle. I mean, and I'll give you an example. Lena, I saw Lena 12 years ago. Who Will Sing for Lena at a festival? Who Will Sing for Lena won that festival 12 years ago. And I said, that's a show that I want to do. It's a drama. It's heavy. I mean, the show is heavy. Okay. And I said, I want to do it. It took me 10 years to find the right actress. I didn't let anything bother me. I just kept going until I found Jessica Washington. And she just blew me away. And I had her audition. She did the whole thing and she blew me away. She's been with me ever since. So finding the right person is key to do your shows, is to act in your movies. Yeah.
Excellent. And Joshua, Isaiah, is there a pressing question that you may have for Sal in your young experience that you would like to have him respond to? Is there anything that has been pressing on your mind, even in this early stage, something that you think somebody with, a little bit of experience might be helpful to you? You have a question for him?
Yeah, I would say when it comes to motivation for writing or getting an idea for your next, project, where does that really come from? If you have a block, and you just can't what do you do motivate you and massage your brain to
Well, for me, I mean, like I said, I've done drama, I've done comedies and musicals and and such. I look for shows that I think are going to grab the people. And it's easier for me, see, because someone else is doing the writing. I just have to read and say, that's going to grab them. And when I took over Lena, they're going to grab them. There's a scene in there, which I won't give away in case, some people get a chance to see it, but it's a hard scene and it's a one-woman show and it's a heavy scene. And I told, Jessica that you're one woman on stage, you have to make it look like there's two people on stage doing this to you. And that was tough. Okay. But I said, if you do it this way, the audience is going to like it. They're going to grab it and they're going to go with it. And that's exactly what happened. I almost cried when I took it to the bigger stage because people would come up to us and they would say, I thought there was another person in that and on that stage with her. And that's exactly what I wanted to hear, because that's the way I directed it. And the other show, basically the same way, I also would like to say, different directors have different styles. I don't know what your style is, but my style is that the actors are there to do a job. Let them do their job. Okay, there's a lot of directors out there. Well, we're gonna move. I want you to move to the right. I want you to move to the left. Move upstage. Move backstage. Whatever, and gives them almost a whole thing to do. I don't go that way. I have an idea of the way I want to see it, the way it happens, and then I go, let's see what you can do with this. If it doesn't look good, I say, stop. Let's go. Let's do this again. Try this. But you got to let the actor, in my opinion, you got to let the actor do their thing. That's what they're there for. That's what they've been. I don't know, paid. They might be paid for it later on, but that's what they're there to do. And a lot of directors won't let them. A lot of directors say, I'm the director. You do what I say do, and let's do it. So, I mean, that's a little advice I just give to you. Use your actors to the best.
So that's sort of like saying, give them some creative space.
Give them creative space. I say to them, I know what I want to see. Let's see if you see how you see the scene. And so they'll go through it. And sometimes in this last show that I did, I didn't have to do anything. I just said, all right, let's go. And they started the scene. They read it. We basically rehearsed it. And they just took off with it. And I sat back and go, okay, why am I here? But that's not true. But it's giving them the chance to show you what they can do. And a lot of directors don't do that.
Mm. So let me remind our listening and viewing audience that we're talking to Joshua and Isaiah Moorhead These are two young creative directors and writers. One wrote and one directed the new short film called 404. It's in the Jordan Peele genre. And our other special guest is Sal Jones, who has been acting, producing, and directing for the past 25 years. We have both ends of the spectrum covered. And we're talking about creativity in the theater, creativity in the film industry, and their participation in it. And the foundation of this, of course, is Genesis 1:1, where it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Creativity, as I pointed out, is a spiritual principle. It is a spiritual principle to bring something into existence that did not exist, or to make something happen that had not happened, that blesses the lives of other people in a positive way. If you have a question, you should be now in the chat room, lining up with your question for either Brother Sal Jones or for Joshua and Isaiah Moorhead, all right? And we'll be going to your questions momentarily. So again, go to the chat room and type in your questions, and we'll be taking them momentarily. And we appreciate your being with us on this evening for what I consider to be a very exciting and informative program. And again, I want to thank our guests for being with us. Isaiah, Joshua, first you all. What's the hardest thing about creating something?
Coming up with like a solid idea that we can both work with, like
And execute.
definitely. Yeah.
We had some of the problem like that in the beginning with another film we wanted to make, where we had the idea, but it was just really hard to go about getting, I guess, the things we need to make the film happen. So that's a block we have to like be wary of and just be mindful of.
Yeah,
That's a really hard part.
our resources are kind of limited in certain like things we want to
For
do.
now.
Yeah, for right now at least. Yeah, for certain things we want to do, for certain scenes we want to capture.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know, or I don't know if you're even old enough to know, but you may know. Do you remember the story about the first movie that Spike Lee made?
Vaguely, I remember I heard it. He made it like with his family members, right? And like,
Yeah, right, with his family members and with money out of his pocket or credit card, really. Yeah, he went into debt with a credit card and made it, and the film did it did pretty well. I think it was called She's
you gotta have it.
She's gotta have it. Yes, she's gotta have it. Exactly. And surprisingly, that I believe was the beginning of his very public and now famous career. So my point is that it can be challenging coming out of the gate. It can be challenging coming out of the gate, and resources can be limited. But that was a part of the advice coming from Brother Sal, that resources can be challenging to secure. So you, Brother Jones, what's the most challenging thing about creativity?
Well, I mean, getting the resources is very challenging. I've been very blessed and very lucky in my life. When I started my theater company, I used all the funds in my pocket to do it. I'm not the other person that you might want to mention is Tyler Perry, who wrote his own plays, started his own plays, brought his plays to New Jersey, all over the place, and that's how it started him. I'm not as lucky as him, but that's what I did. I was lucky enough to overcome the resource piece and to put on a musical with costumes and get a theater. You gotta have the resources. So for me, it was working hard, and even till today, overcoming the resources, overcoming what you need to get the show done. I've just been granted a $13,000 grant to go to Monaco. Theater companies within the Lexington area in which I lived also went out and raised money for us to go to Monaco. So that's a thing for you guys is, you got these GoFundMe pages. I don't know if you want to do that, but you might want to. But to get that money that you need, you got to hit up companies in your area, but don't be afraid to advertise for them in your play, in your shows. And that's what I did. It's been a struggle for the last 20 years trying to get money. You know, my wife was, she would be after me with a broomstick because I'm spending money on the shows and not bringing much money in. But to this last 4 years, it's been worth it.
If you have a question for one of our guests, please go to the chat room and type in your question, and we'll take as many of them as we can as we move forward with our conversation. As I indicated at the top of the program, creativity is a spiritual principle. I have the utmost respect for creative people because it speaks to the notion of not only making something from nothing or bringing into existence something that didn't exist before, but also it speaks to the notion of bringing something into existence that blesses the lives of other people. I mean, because I can go out here and, you know, and find some sticks in my yard and do something with them, but it's not going to do anything for anybody but make my hands dirty. But creative people who can put together words to music, people who can put together a script and have people act it out, people who can direct other people and create an ensemble that puts together a package that captures people's imagination and inspires people and moves people and drives people. To me, that's a godly thing. That's a godly thing. That kind of stuff comes straight from the Creator. And to me, it's a blessing. And this is why people who are creative are so admired in our society and indeed in this world. I do know, and I feel that many people who are creative, and I'd like for each of you all to react to this, many people who are creative may not even see themselves as being anything special. They're just doing what it is that's in them to do. They're being driven, they're being inspired, they're being moved, they're being called, if you will, to do this, that, or the other, and they're just responding to that call. Meanwhile, other people who are witnesses to what it is they do and inspired by what it is they do are enamored and impressed with what they see as being magnificent creativity. Any response to those thoughts that I'm spewing out?
That's very true. Yeah, like it feels very natural.
Yeah.
So like when people like you say like, you know, how creative or like how how creative like the idea you made was, it's weird to hear because it just felt so natural for you when you were doing it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sal?
Yeah, I agree. But every show I choose because I think it's going to move my audience in some way or another. That's how I chose my shows. And that's how I chose Lena. That's how I chose The Mountaintop. And I love to hear what people think about it. Good, bad, or indifferent. I want to know. Do I need to improve on that? You didn't like that? You didn't like that when that happened? You know, and I'd love to hear it. And I also love to hear the praise. Okay, and my biggest supporters are James and Anita Jones. They are my biggest. Those are my cousins, by the way, that go to the church. But they're
right. I think you have another cousin too at the church.
I do.
Yeah.
And Renita, you two came to my show in New York City, and I love that you were there. Okay, she's been talking me up too. I don't want to leave her out. Okay, but Jimmy and Anita, they've seen my show Lena 5 times at least. They came to New to New York City. They came up to Connecticut to see the show. And they've seen it it was on one of the stations that we have. So I think they've seen it about 5 times, and I appreciate them so much.
Yeah, and the other cousin, Sal mentioned it, is the Bernita he's referring to is my wife.
That's right. I'm sorry.
No. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
First lady.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. My wife is his cousin as well. And as he mentioned, we have been to New York to see the play. Who will sing for Lena, and we were blessed by the occasion. So again, if you have questions, you should have been in the chat room with them. And what I think we'll try to do right now is to see. Let's check the chat room. Let's go to Brother Terry and see if there's anybody in the chat room with a question that we can be helpful with. Brother Terry.
Yes. Okay. This question comes in is for the Moorhead brothers. The question is, when did you guys first discover that you had this talent or gift to do what you're doing?
So I've always liked reading and writing since I was a little kid, and I've always wrote like my favorite thing to do when I was a kid in elementary school was the picture prompts the teachers would give us. They would give us a picture and we have to write like a story about whatever the picture is. So I've always liked creating with words like that. So I've been doing that since I was young. And I just started writing like short stories a few years ago. And this is my first real script I wrote this time. So.
You know what I have found in following Hollywood from a distance over the years is that when writers strike, Hollywood basically shuts down.
Yeah.
Because it's the writers
that make the movie
that drive the industry. Am I off base in that, Moorheads or Sal?
No, that's correct.
Yeah. They write the scripts. They make the stories that capture people, make people cry, make people laugh.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. And yet they're not the names. Not until they have written a whole bunch of them. They're not the big names that come out of Hollywood. The big names that come out are the actors and actresses who are in front of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have that right?
You got it.
Oh, okay.
You got it. Yeah. Yep, you got it.
Okay.
Now, see, with the plays, I mean, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, they want to work with fresh material, things that might be happening today, fresh things on their brains, where I can go back, and if there's a writer's strike, I can go back years and years and find plays that I can produce and direct. So there's just a little bit. I mean, you can do the same thing with movies, but not as good. If there's a writer's strike, there's no fresh material coming out. I have loads and loads and loads of material to work with. So that's just a little difference.
Yeah. Excellent. So, Brother Terry, let's try again. Let's see if there's another question that we could respond to.
Okay, this time question for Brother Sal. You said it took you about 10 years to find your actress for Lena. How did you hang tough or stay focused or stay encouraged during that waiting time?
Well, like I was saying earlier, I had the play. As a matter of fact, I met the playwright. She wasn't published. I helped get her published, so now the play is a published play. And I just kept it in my back pocket. Okay, this play happened in 1944. It's a true story about a Black woman who was raped by her white lover. Actually, it was an abuser. And, I just took that play and said, this is what I want to do, and I'll wait for the right person to act in it. So I took the play and put it in my back pocket. I interviewed over the years 5 or 6 women in the Boston area. And I thought I found a couple of really good and semi-professional actresses who I thought would do the job. But when there's a certain scene in the play, which I think, Pastor knows what I'm talking about, where she is accosted by this man, and there's no other man. I mean, there's only her. So I had to direct her to act as if there was another person in the room accosting her. And that was tough. That was very, very tough. And once those 4 or 5 actresses got to that part in my script, they kind of looked at me and said, Sal, I can't do this. I've had a similar, I was accosted when I was a child. I was accosted when I was an adult, and they just couldn't get over that part. And then I found Jess. Little did I know that Jess was accosted as well as a child. But I didn't know that. I didn't know that till I went to Bates College and we were sitting in front of college students after we had done the play, where she admitted she had given me a hard time as a director, which you directed, you might get that too. You might get an actor or actress give you a hard time because they don't see it your way or they had a personal problem that they're trying to get over with. Well, I didn't know she was raped as a child, but all I know was that she gave me a hard time when I was doing that scene with her because it just grabbed her and it was therapy for her. The other ladies that I talked to, 2 out of the 4 or 5 said I can't do it because it's too close to my family, too close to what happened to me. But Jessica saw it as a therapy. And so she knocked it out of the park. And to this day, I mean, we're friends. I just spoke to her one yesterday. But I didn't know that had happened. And that was tough. It was very, very tough, but she pulled it through. After every show, she'd walk off. I didn't ask for bows, okay, like you do at the end of the show, because it just took so much out of her to do this role. So she would go off in the corner of the theater after she finishes, and she cried like a baby every night. Not just the one here, one there. Every night she cried. So I would go back there, console her, and then we come out and do our talk back. So anyway.
Yeah. So I have heard I've seen, I should say, a number of interviews of actors and actresses after the making of a film, which they felt particularly close to for one reason or another. And they have often described that it was either therapy for them, or they describe something like they actually became the person that they were depicting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in that process, they were either helped or challenged or strengthened or something. But my point is that the role that they played had a really powerful impact on them. Is that what you're speaking of?
That's exactly what has happened. It happened to her when she was young. And she was going to therapy for it. She wouldn't mind me telling you now that she had gone into therapy, and she was in therapy at the time of the show. And I didn't know that until we had done the show 3 or 4 places. I had no idea. It was her therapy. It was her therapy.
Yeah, yeah. So Isaiah, Joshua, do you all plan to continue as a partnership, or are you thinking that you might go your separate ways in the future, or that's just too far down the road? You haven't charted that out yet.
Right now, we're pretty much sticking and staying together. Just keeping doing this writing and directing thing. Yeah. As long as we can do that for. But we don't plan on separating anytime soon, if ever. So. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, good. At least you know each other.
Can I ask a question? You may not want to say, but you guys look pretty young. How old are you?
21.
I'm 23.
Man, very good. Very good.
Yeah.
So very
Yeah.
much success to you guys.
Did you say 21 and 23?
Yeah.
Hey, I remember those days. Let me see. That was about 1840. Woo! So they've got a long, wonderful path in front of
you
them.
do. You do.
Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah, and I do think it helps to know a bit about who you're working with, and out of that partnership can come some great what do you call it?
Synergy.
What was it?
Synergy.
That's the word I was trying to think of. Synergy. Yes, synergy and synchrony, so forth and so on. So you guys keep it up. So let's see. Let's try. Let's try Brother Terry again. See if there's another question we can be helpful with.
Okay, I think I'm out of questions, but we have someone that chimed in that wanted to know how they could contact Joshua and Isaiah because they want to help with that new camera.
All right. Now see. Now let me before you answer that, Joshua and Isaiah. What is the fee of an agent? I'm just playing. Because I was about to say you got this contact through Morning Star's Life Study, and I believe the agents what do they work? Was it 10%? Sal, what is it? 10%, 20%, 15%?
Actually, it used to be 15, but they creeped up to 20.
Oh, okay. All right. 20%. So, Isaiah, Joshua, somebody wants to know how they can get in touch with you to perhaps help with getting you the latest up-to-date sophisticated camera for your work. What do they need to do?
My email, if you want to contact me, is yoaspire@outlook.com. I can put it in the chat if that would help.
Yeah, do that and also repeat it again, but repeat it, slowly.
Okay. Even type it. Okay. The email is yoaspire@outlook.com. So that's YOASPIRE@outlook.com.
All right. So now, Yo Aspire. What is the inspiration for that? Because that's not your name.
It is not my name. My name is Joshua. And it goes way back to when I was like 10 or 12. I used to make YouTube videos and I needed a name. So I had a song I liked at the time. It was called I think Aspirations or Aspire. So that word always stuck with me. And then when I started my directing business, my name was originally Aspire Films. And I thought that was kind of boring. So everyone in my high school who knew I made YouTube videos would call me Aspire, and they would just greet me saying "Yo Aspire." So I just took that name, and that is now my name.
So they said, "Hey, yo, Aspire."
Yo, Aspire.
Okay, there you go. That works. So hopefully and prayerfully, you will hear from who it is that wants to help you, and of course. It does not have to be limited to one, and this is my message to the listening audience. If there are others of you who wish to be helpful to this young, dynamic team of brothers coming out of the gate, please take note of the email address and help them out. You never know. They may be someday selling stocks in their Yo Aspire production company, and that'll be just like DreamWorks. Isn't that the name of one of those companies?
Yep, Spielberg.
That's the name, Spielberg. Yeah. And guess how much that's worth today? But anyway, and it had to start somewhere. So thank you to the viewer who is offering to help. And so Sal, what kind of help or assistance can people be to you in your work?
That's a good question. I was thinking about taking it easy after Monaco. So if anybody wants to invest in my retirement, My email is, oh,
I
I
see.
thought I'd take it easy for a little bit.
I got you.
So the Lexington Players has moved from Lexington, Massachusetts to now Windsor, Connecticut, and we may be moving to Florida soon. So actually, I'm just gonna, after Monaco, I think I'll just take it easy for a year and see how things go.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. So, since there are no more questions, let me give each of you, beginning with you, Joshua and Isaiah, a couple minutes to give any closing statement or expressions that you would like to make to our listening and viewing audience. Let me give you a couple minutes to do just that. Or say whatever you'd like to say about your efforts to this point, your progress to this point, what you're looking forward to. Speak to our viewing audience.
Thank everyone for having us. We're really happy to be here.
Can you speak up a little bit louder?
Thank you everyone for having us. Thank you for the person who offered to help with the camera. And if you would like to watch the film, it is just 4:04 at 4, like the time 4:04 on YouTube. You can just search that up, or you can search my name, Yo Aspire. It should be the first video that pops up. And also my website is yoaspire.online. If you'd like to see some of my other work and things. And we have more films coming that you can see there as well. So yes, thank you for having us.
Okay, and you do music videos as well, correct? So if they're singing or individual singers or groups out there who are looking to have some excellent video work done, they can contact Yo Aspire, correct? All right. Thank you so much for being with us. Sal, closing comments.
Thank you very much for asking me to do this. I picked up the phone the other day and I heard your voice and I was like, whoa, what happened? Something happened? I appreciate I appreciated the hearing from you because I enjoy being at the church and listening to your sermons. The only thing that I could say is that these guys are up and coming, and the support that you can give them would be great. I also mentioned to you a while ago, I might have mentioned to my cousin Jimmy, that I have 2 copies of my shows that if you wanted to use them for fundraising or you wanted to use them for sending me funds, no, I mean for fundraising for the church, for fundraising for the church, I will make them available to you. They're especially the mountaintop. It's got some, profane language in it, but you can get over that a little bit. And Lena has that a scene where she's accosted. But I want people to see my work. I want people to see, Black actors doing their job. So if you feel that this is something that you want to use at church one Thursday night, one Wednesday night special, I'll be glad to send you a copy of it.
Thank you so much. If you can put your email maybe in the chat so we can have that, that'll be cool too.
Okay, that's cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Joshua, Isaiah Moorhead. Thank you so much, Sal Jones. Both of you have been a blessing, and we especially thank all of you who have listened and have been viewing us this evening. Thank you for participating, and of course, we look forward to being with you and sharing with you all, as well as those that you invite at our Sunday worship service this coming Sunday at 9:30 a.m. per usual, every Sunday, 9:30 a.m. And this Sunday will be no different. Of course, this is the first Sunday of August. So we will share in communion, which means that you must come to the Zoom experience with your own juice and your own crackers, and we will minister communion to all of those who are viewing the worship service on this coming Sunday. And we thank you in advance for participating and being with us. We also thank all of those of you who continue to support our ministry. We thank you for your financial gifts, for It is through your generosity that the ministry of Morning Star continues and continues to be a blessing to others. So between here and Sunday, we ask that you continue to be strong, to be safe. We ask that you continue to be vaccinated. People, please be vaccinated. Please be vaccinated. Please be vaccinated. And we also ask that you continue to be blessed, and we'll see you Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. sharp.